hours ago, the UPSC has conducted the 2022 preliminary examination, paper 1, and paper 2 is going on. And we at AKS IAS have come up with the answer key and explanations for both the papers, component wise, and I'll be taking up the history part. But before we go into the session, let me announce that the institute is offering a mains mentorship program, and for those who are interested in this by subject experts, and those who are interested in this can contact the institute. Fine. So let us get started with the session. Now, before I go into individual questions and look into the answers, let us have a very brief overview analysis of the history component. See, as usual, the trend has been that history will be given a weightage between 15 to 20 questions. And even this year, the trend has continued. And we have got on the whole 16 questions, you can say, from history. Whereas I'll be dealing with around 15 questions. Whereas the one question which you can say is a kind of an overlap between history and polity. It was a question related to Government of India Act 1919, which will be discussed as part of polity. Although you can actually put it as history as well. So out of 16 questions, I'll be discussing 15. And out of these 15 questions, if you see what is the distribution they have done for the different components of the subject. Yes, the distribution was quite even this time, but then slightly different from the previous trends. What we find is modern India has not been given any special weightage. Okay, but then roughly you can say out of 16 questions, ancient, medieval, modern and culture. Okay. Out of these 16 questions and these 4 components, we do have a kind of a almost even distribution. 4 or 5 from all, 4 or 4 from, roughly 4 from each of them. And next, if you look at the difficulty level, I would say compared to last year, this year's paper was not so easy. There were last year a few questions which were so straightforward that you could tick them away straight without much doubt in your mind. But this time the level of comfort was a bit low. But then still, a serious student who has done his or her preparation from the standard sources, they will be able to answer pretty decently. And obviously there will be certain questions which are so difficult, out of easy, medium and difficult. You can say there are 5 to 6 questions which are difficult actually. And leaving those questions should not really bother you, because they are difficult to all, for everyone. But then any mistake done in the easy and medium, yeah, that should be a bit of a matter of concern for you all. Fine. So this was a brief overview analysis. So now let us start getting into the individual questions one by one. Let me take this question. In medieval India, the term phanum referred to what? The answer is coins. And the explanation for it is, if anyone has studied their ancient India, they should have come across a word called Karshapana, which is in short sometimes called Pana. The plural will be Panas. What are these? These are the first ever coins in Indian history. What are coins? Coins are used for trade purposes, exchange. And in Indian history, the first coins were the panas or karshapanas. And now this word has slowly changed, and this pana has kind of become fana. Pa has become fa kind, fanam. And the word fanam is referring to some kind of coins. And these are the panas, as the panas are silver coins, even the fanam are silver coins. But the fanam were mainly issued in the South Indian region, Tamil Nadu and Kerala areas. Okay, so the answer is coins for this. Next, this is a question from modern India, and precisely talking about The revolutionaries. Revolutionaries. And such an easy question, direct from the standard textbooks available out there in the market. The three names have been given: Barindra Kumar Ghosh, Jogesh Chandra Chatterjee and Rash Bihari Bose. And what is asked that who of these were or was or were associated with the Gadar party? And the answer is three only. Only Rash Bihari Bose was actively associated with the Gadar party, whereas the first two members were associated with another revolutionary organization in Bengal called as Anushilan Samiti. And a very, very straightforward question from your standard books. Next. Again another question from modern. Cripps mission coming from 1942. And any student who has taken his preparation seriously, his or her preparation seriously, they know that 1940s of modern India is a period of too much of turbulence. Too many events were happening, and yeah, one has to be very particular about the words. Each word should be given importance. So here they are asking, they have given you two statements on Cripps mission and asking you all to select which of the above is or are correct. The answer is neither. Both the sentences are wrong. Why? Let us see that. The first sentence is saying the Constituent Assembly would have members nominated by the provincial assemblies as well as princely states. That's the wrong statement. Why? Because if you look at that Cripps mission, from the provincial assemblies members will be elected, whereas from the princely states they will be nominated. Whereas here it is given as if both are going to nominate it, which makes the statement 1 wrong. Coming to the second statement, any province which is not prepared to accept the new constitution would have the right to sign a, till here it's okay, but right to sign a separate agreement with the Britain regarding its future status. If you look at the standard books, the wording is slightly different. What do they say? What do these books say? They say that if any province really doesn't like the constitution that has been framed, what they can do is either they can have a separate constitution or form their own separate union. But it's not clearly mentioned there that they can have an agreement with the Britain as to regarding what will be their future status. So that makes the statement 2 also wrong. So the answer will be D, neither 1 nor 2. Both the statements are wrong. Moving on. This is a question coming from ancient India. Okay, sorry, art and culture, because this is talking about literature aspect. Here we have some names of 4 books or works, literary works from ancient India. And what has been asked is which of these, there's a small printing mistake here, please don't mind. Which of these is actually belonging to Jain literature, Jaina texts? The answer will be 2 and 4. Answer choice will be B, Bombay, 2 and 4. Parishishta Parvan was written by Hemachandra. Both this person is a Jain scholar. And Trishasti Lakshana Mahapurana was written by Jinasena. Both of them are Jain scholars. Whereas the other 2 things, the Netti Pakarana and Avadana Shataka, were Buddhist works. Okay. Again, definitely not an easy question to guess. As I said, if you are leaving a difficult one, you need not be worried so much. So the answer will be B, 2 and 4. Next. Here again a question you can say from art and culture, because here also it is talking about literature or scholars who have written some books or works, and they have given you a match the following. 3 people have been mentioned and they're asked which of the religion they belong to. Arya Deva was a Jaina scholar. No, that is wrong. He was a Buddhist scholar. Dignaga is a Buddhist scholar. Yes. Nada Muni is a Vaishnava scholar. Yes. In fact, Nada Muni is very famous. Those who have done your art and culture and the literature section is a very famous person. Nada Muni is a Vaishnava scholar, a Hindu, and he is known for compiling the sacred texts of the Vaishnava Bhakti movement, the Alvars, and the book's name is Nalayira Divya Prabandham. So he is that person, Nathamuni. And again, not so easy for the other two. Even Dignaga, you might have come across once or twice, but then unless and until you have done it properly, it's not easy to answer it. So the answer will be only two pairs are C will be your answer. Next. Question from medieval India. Again an easy question, direct from the books. Three statements have been given. All of them are referring to the period of Delhi Sultanate, and they are referring to the Mongol invasions during the Delhi Sultanate. Let us take each sentence. The first Mongol invasion of India happened during the reign of Jalaluddin Khilji. Wrong. The first Mongol invasions happened during the period of Altamash or Iltutmish. There might be some confusion with respect to the wording of the statement, that we all know that Iltutmish or Altamash actually prevented the Mongol invasion from happening. That entire story, you can read it, who have read it, they know it, okay. But still, Jalaluddin Khilji is a person who started ruling India, particularly the North Indian region, in 1290, and Delhi Sultanate started in 1206. So it is improbable that the Mongol invasions would have first started only in Jalaluddin Khilji. That is highly improbable. So the answer is wrong. Second statement is correct. During the reign of Alauddin Khilji, one Mongol assault marched up to Delhi and besieged the city. Yes, it did happen. Actually, Alauddin Khilji was an aggressive expansionist. He wanted to conquer entire India. So naturally, he started focusing more on South India. And now when he was busy with his campaigns in the south, the Mongols took a chance, thought that this guy is busy there, so let us attack North India, Delhi. And they did. And around the year 1303, 1304, they had penetrated so deep, come to Delhi, even occupied Delhi for a while. But Alauddin Khilji was a strong king, so what he did, he already had a small fort called Siri Fort constructed there, and from there he led the defense and was able to flush out the Mongols again. So that makes statement 2 as right. The statement 3 again is wrong. Why? Saying Muhammad bin Tughlaq temporarily lost portions of northwest of his kingdoms to Mongols. No. Why? Because by the time of Muhammad bin Tughlaq, the Mongols had started becoming, not started, have already become quite weak. So there is literally, that statement is going wrong. So the answer will be 2 only, B, Bombay. Again, this is a question from medieval India, quite a difficult question, not easy to find them in the standard books. Don't worry even if you have left it. But then taking unnecessary guesses, yeah, that may create some problems. With reference to the Indian history, who of the following were known as Kuladaran? The answer is Sayyids. What do you mean by this? Kula is said is a kind of a cap these people used to wear, a pointed cap. And Dharan is like wearing, who wears it. So it is, these Sayyids were those people who used to wear such caps. So you call them as the Kuladaran. Again, a difficult question. You will not find it generally in the standard books. Next, modern India. An easy question. Not easy completely, but yeah, you can definitely answer. 3 statements have been given. All the 3 statements are related to the foreign trading companies that had come to India for trade. Let us see them. The Dutch established their factories or warehouses on the east coast on lands granted to them by Gajapati rulers. Not correct. Why? Because east coast of India at that time, particularly this Andhra region and all, where the Dutch had settled Masulipattnam and all these areas, they were under the control of the Qutub Shah rulers of Golconda Sultanate. So the answer will be Golconda Sultans. So this is wrong. Alfonso de Albuquerque was a Portuguese governor. He captured Goa from the Bijapur Sultans. Absolutely right. Straightforward, directly available in your textbooks. The English East India Company established a factory at Madras, again direct from the textbooks, on a plot of land leased from a representative of the Vijayanagar Empire, right? There was a person by name Damirla Venkatadri Nayak, and it's from whom that English trader officer by name Francis Day had taken a small piece of land where they started doing trade, and that is small stretch of land has slowly prospered and evolved into the modern city of Madras, which we call today as Chennai. So that makes third statement also right. So the answer will be Bombay, 2 and 3 only. Next, a question from ancient India, again not easy, but there is a small way using your elimination technique. You may, again that depends on how much risk you wish to take in the exam. Okay, this is a question on slavery in India, and according to Kautilya Sharthashastra, what was the nature of slavery in India? 3 statements have been given. You are asked to select which is correct, which is or are correct. A person could be a slave as a result of judicial punishment. Yes. For example, if a person has taken a loan and has not repaid it back, so probably even the courts can judge him that till he resolves his loan, he may have to be as a slave. Second, if a female slave bore her master a son, she was legally free. Yes, even that statement is correct. But the third is wrong. Why? Let us see it. If a son born to a female slave was fathered by her master, the son was entitled to the legal status of the master's son. Now, a son born of a female slave, will he be given the same legal status as a master's son? Obviously no. So that is a small risk that you may take in the exam. So the answer 3 will be definitely wrong. That will straight away get us to the answer A, 1 and 2 only. Not easy. Next. Again, question from ancient India. A factual question. I'll say, although it is coming from a very familiar area, Ashokan Inscriptions, we all know that has been one favorite area where UPSC asks. But such kind of questions are very, very factual. Even if you have missed it, do not worry much. 4 places have been given where Ashoka's major rock edicts have been found, and they are asking you all to match these areas with the present day locations in modern states. If you see, Dhauli is in Odisha, that is correct. Erragudi is in Andhra Pradesh, that is correct. Jaugada is in Madhya Pradesh. No, it is also in Odisha. Kalsi is in Karnataka. No, it is in Uttarakhand. A very factual question. There is nothing logic that you can apply there. So the answer will be 1 and 2 only are correct. Only 2 pairs are correct. So answer is B. Next. Medieval India. A medium question, but definitely if you have done early medieval India portion, yes, you may answer this question. 4 kings have been mentioned, and you are being asked to match the dynasty to which they belonged. Nanuka is Chandela dynasty. Yes, he is in fact the founder of Chandela dynasty. Jayashakti is Paramara. No. Why? He is also belonging to Chandela. Nagabhatta is belonging to Gurjara Pratihara. Absolutely right. Bhoja is belonging to Rashtrakuta. No, he belongs to Paramara. Again, a very factual question. And of these three people are quite famous: Nanuka, Nagabhatta, and Bhoja. So at least on those three, you will be able to answer the question. So the answer should be 1 and 3 only are correctly matched, which means only 2 pairs have been matched correctly. Next. This is a question coming from ancient India about the Sangam age. Which of the following statements, four statements have been given, asking you all to select which is correct. Let us see them. Sangam poems are devoid of any reference to material culture. Absolutely wrong statement. Material culture refers to the technological and economic aspects of your society. And Sangam literature, if you have done your studied properly, are very different textbooks compared to the Vedas, because they were more secular in nature, that is dealing with non-religious aspects. So they were essentially talking a lot about material culture. So that makes the statement 1 wrong. The statement 2 is actually the right answer. The Sangam, the social classification of Varna was known to the Sangam poets, yes. In fact, many of the poets were Brahmins themselves. So, although the Varna system was not consolidated in a completely stratified way, still they had awareness of Varna, yes, they did know about it. The third, the Sangam's poems have no reference to warrior ethics, wrong. It talks a lot of war and all these things. Sangam literature refers to magical forces as irrational, wrong. They believed in magical forces. In those ancient societies, not only Sangam, you can imagine most of human societies anywhere in the world would believe in magics in those times, because we are talking about periods in BCs. Now, this is again coming from culture, a very difficult question, not usually found in your books, and there is slight ambiguity with the answer for these questions. We'll have to see what UPSC would like to say, because it seems that this book, Yoga Vashishta, was translated into Persian language by a person by name Nizamuddin Panipati. That's fine, but exactly during whose period is the question? Is it Akbar, Humayun, Shah Jahan, or Aurangzeb? One thing you can definitely cancel out is Humayun. Why? Because Humayun really had a very turbulent and disturbed political life. And for a large period of his life, he was not even in India. So, in fact, he really didn't have time for such kind of scholarly literary activities. And even Aurangzeb you can to some extent eliminate, because Aurangzeb was really more of a conservative, orthodox type of a ruler. He didn't have that broad-mindedness to promote history and literature and all. He was a more of this negative type of a ruler. So, these two we can kind of eliminate. But then, it's Akbar or Shah Jahan. Akbar, we all know, was the most liberal Muslim ruler ever India had. And it was during his time, a lot of translations had happened really. But then, whether this one exactly happened during Akbar or Shah Jahan is not very clear, because it seems as if it has happened slightly in an overlapping period. But then, taking the benefit of doubt for us, we will going with A, Akbar. This is a question coming from, a history question coming from current affairs kind of thing. We all know that recently in Hyderabad, there was a huge statue of equality that was unveiled by none but the Prime Minister Modi. And here, that person's statue was Ramanuja. And a question has been asked about him. What is his philosophy? What is his teaching? The best statement of four. Four have been given, asked, select which one is the best. Let us see them. The answer is 1 actually. A is the correct answer. Let us see it. The best means of salvation was devotion or bhakti. See, now we all know that, again you can say this is coming from culture, bhakti movement. Bhakti movement. Ramanuja was a very important bhakti poet and saint in that period from Tamil Nadu, 12th century. Just before him, there was a great scholar, Adi Shankaracharya, who had given a philosophy called Advaita Vedanta. Now, this is not where we can sit and discuss these philosophies, but still, you should be aware of this. Shankaracharya believed that the best way for salvation is knowledge, jnana marga. Like you must have accurate knowledge and then you can experience the God and have salvation. But whereas Ramanuja didn't choose jnana marga, he chose bhakti marga or devotional path. That is, according to him, it doesn't matter how much knowledge you have, how many scriptures you have read, unless you have a purity in your heart and you have an intense longing for that ultimate God, that unconditional love. So you should be burning with a sense of devotion, and that is the best way for salvation, according to them. And it clearly captures the word bhakti, which is devotion. The answer is clearly A. The other three can be eliminated in their own ways. Let us see the second one. Vedas are eternal, self-existent and wholly authoritative. Now, he is not going to challenge the authority of Vedas, but does it form the crux of his teachings? Not really. Because Vedas will have complex mantras, they have too much of complicated Sanskrit language, poems and all. So now when he is saying that it is not your jnana, it is your bhakti. So although he doesn't deny the importance of Vedas, he doesn't stress their importance also. What he is simply saying, anyone, if you have true love in your heart, you can attain God. That's what he's saying. So this may not be wrong, but doesn't form the essence of his teachings. These two can clearly eliminate. Logical arguments were essential means for highest bliss. I said no. That was a belief of Adi Shankara, who went for Jnana Marga. Salvation was to be obtained through meditation. Again, as I said, meditation, knowledge and all are slightly difficult, which common people may not be able to do. What is more easy for common people is bhakti, and he stressed more on bhakti as the means. So answer will be A. Coming to the last question. Again, a question coming from current affairs. The Prime Minister recently inaugurated a new circuit house near Somnath Temple in Gujarat. It's a very famous, we all know it. 3 statements have been given with respect to it and asked which of these is or are correct. The answer will be 1 and 2 are correct and 3 is wrong. A very easy question. Again, those who have basic knowledge can easily answer it. Somnath Temple is one of the Jyotirlinga shrines. Jyotirlinga are those that we all know. Lord Shiva in Hinduism is worshipped in the form of linga. Okay. So now in India it is believed that there are 12 such Jyotirlingas which are considered quite important. And in fact, out of those 12, Somnath is considered is not only one, but is also considered as the first of these 12 Jyotirlingas. So 100% the answer, statement 1 is correct. Second, a description of Somnath temple was given by Al-Biruni. Al-Biruni was a Islamic scholar in medieval India who accompanied the Muslim invader by name Mahmud Ghazni. When he invaded India 17 times, there was a time when he invaded Somnath temple also, Ghazni. Okay, and destroyed these temples. But although the Hindus rebuilt it again and again and again, here you will find that Al-Biruni was a court poet of Ghazni. So it's very, very clear that Al-Biruni was very much aware of this temple, and he also mentioned this in his book called Kitabul Hind. Third statement is wrong. The Pran Pratishtha of Somnath temple, that is the installation of the modern temple, was done by President S. Radhakrishnan, Sarvepalli Radhakrishnan. That is wrong. It was done by, first of all, Sarvepalli Radhakrishnan was never the president. He was the vice president. So the answer will be here, it is Rajendra Prasad will be the person. So 3 will be wrong. So answer will be 1 and 2 only. Answer is A. Okay. I hope the session benefited you all to remove any sense of anxiety among you all. And please await for the other videos of the other components. Thank you. I told. And those who are interested in the mains mentorship, as I said in the beginning, can contact the institute for any further details. Thank you so much and all the best.